For our next question, the order will be Kelly, then Kirsten, then John. The question is, LGBTQ kids in our schools. There are LGBTQ kids in our schools, and the data clearly indicates that LGBTQ kids commit suicide at a much higher rate than the average population. How do you plan on supporting the LGBTQ community in our schools? The order is Kelly, Kirsten, then John.
Like any group of people that needs extra love and help and understanding, we should be treating them the same. That's very scary to talk about any sort of suicide for our teenagers, and I think that the isolation of it is really at the core, and so we need to be having these conversations with our kids, making sure that we're loving them all and not turning our backs on them. It's something that, again, across the board, we really need to be taking care of our kids and watching and listening for these signs.
I'm so grateful for whoever asked this question, because I've been walking around with this data on this issue for every forum, wanting somebody to ask me about what our data says in the state of Oregon around suicide, specifically related to LGBTQ. We have to get the data. So LO hasn't really collected that in the last couple years. We're going to do that moving forward. These are silent episodes, and we cannot have them be silent anymore. So the Oregon Healthy Teens Survey is really, really important. It asks uncomfortable questions. It's validated. We know they ask honestly. It's a great, great resource, and I'd like to see that happen in our schools. Specifically, we have a zero suicide plan in the state of Oregon. They work right down the hall for me. And this cannot be done in silos. This is not just a school issue. It absolutely cannot be a school issue. This is going to have to involve all of us, from homes and family engagement to our community health resources. We need more mental health services in the schools. They have to be quickly and immediately accessed for support. We cannot let people go unseen. That's where things start going downhill, and it's an investment we're going to have to make in order to prevent suicides for any situation, but this is particularly and exceptionally true. And we have to stop bullying, because it's the incessant bullying on that darn stinking phone and internet, and we have to interrupt these types of behaviors as well and teach kids to do it.
I'm glad you got to use your back.
I know, finally.
three or four. No, this is why I'm so excited that Kirsten will be joining the board, and she just brings this wealth of knowledge. And yes, I think there is an epidemic of suicide in our state and in our country, and LGBTQ kids are the most at risk for that. And we need to wrap our arms around all these kids and support them and show that we see them and we care for them and we love them. And providing more mental health supports that's something that we have in our school levy. We want to add that in there, even if in any case, we need to do this. We need to all support these kids. We need to be there for them. And I think Kirsten pointed out also the data. We've got to look at this data. We've got to see what's happening in our schools. We've got to see, are we doing better? How can we do more? How can we reach out to kids? We have to check in with kids. So I want to make sure that we see these kids, and just lastly, I would love to see more representation on our DEI committee as we go through. It's a permanent committee. It's going to refresh. I want to make sure that voice is strongly represented as we go forward, and we don't forget these issues.